Hey, everybody. Welcome to another fun, exciting episode of This Board Game Life. This is episode number 100. You heard that right. 100. You got to do that 10 times. So you got to keep repeating it.
That's
there.
Not going to happen.
No. Yeah. You had a visual treat.
A woo woo.
If you're watching on video. And this is episode 100, the big 100 of This Board Game Life. And it's titled This 3D Printing Life. What an exciting name. Actually, are people going to be confused as to what the podcast is or what the show is? Is it This Board Game Life or is it This 3D Printing Life?
Both this time.
Yes.
We're bringing you double the content. 3 times.
This is a crossover episode. This is like, I don't know, when Arnold from Facts of Life went over. No. What's the show with Gary Coleman? With his brother? Is it Facts of Life?
Different Strokes?
Different Strokes. Yeah, where they went over to Facts of Life with the girls. Or something like that, or Brady Bunch goes to somewhere. I don't know. Anyway,
just admit, Rob's announcing a new podcast. He's going to start up calling this 3D Printing Life.
Yeah, there you go. Or This 3D Printing Life. It's got to have this in front of it. And that smooth intro that I did. I haven't announced myself. My name is Rob. And with me, as always, that smooth, sexy voice that you heard just a couple seconds ago. That's my good buddy, Mark.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the show. We got a lot to talk about. I'm excited about this episode, Rob.
Yeah, I am too. I am very excited. So actually, with that being said, let's get rolling with the show so we can talk about all that fun stuff. And let's see, we just need to take care of a little bit of business real quick. You can find our show on a couple of different formats, right? You can find us on YouTube, where you can find both the podcast, right? So there's a video podcast. There's also an audio podcast on there because, hey, YouTube does everything now. It does all sorts of stuff, podcast, video, all that good stuff. So those are both on there. And we've got a whole ton of content, unboxings, playthroughs, reviews. So make sure to check it out. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Perfect timing, my friend. Mark just queued that right up on the video portion. And we really appreciate it if you like and subscribe, because that really helps promote the show. And lets more people find out about the goodness that we're putting out there. So before we get on with the meat of the show, what have you been playing lately? There's a couple 2-treat things.
It's been a slow week. I got my dad's visiting for a couple of weeks, but I did take him to a game night, my normal Wednesday night last week.
Oh, no way! Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, he had fun. We played some lighter fare, and but what we did play is we played some Don't Llama, which I still find is a really fun little card game.
Don't you have to pronounce the L.L.A.M.A?
L.L.A.M.A? No, it's llama. Don't llama. We played some Flip 7, and we also played some 7 Wonders Architects. So those were the 3 that I had already played. And then some friends of mine brought in a couple other things that, I told them, hey, my dad's coming. I'm going to bring some lighter stuff. And they brought a couple things that they thought that he would enjoy. So we played a game called Phantom Inc. Is this anything that you are familiar with, Rob?
I don't think so. What's it about?
So this is pretty interesting game, tattoos? Actually. It is not. You are basically dividing up into teams, and you get this stack of cards. There's a stack of cards in the middle, and I think each team gets 3 cards, I think, or I don't remember how many we start with, but you pick 2 of these cards, and they basically have questions. So there's something we have to we have to ask questions, but we can only ask what's on these cards that we get handed to us. One of the people on our team is going to give the clues, okay? And so we basically depict a card. It might be like, what's the opposite, or where would you use this, or something to that effect. So we'll hand that card. We'll hand them we pick out two questions out of a hand of like 5, and we give them to the clue giver. They're going to take and look at them, and they're going to pick one of them, and they're going to discard the other one, and now they're going to start writing on this board. Start to kind of spell out the answer. Now, our team can tell them, and they'll put out one letter at a time. And then we can tell them to stop whenever we think we might know what they're trying to spell, because we know what the question is. Then we stop. Then it goes to the other team, and they can basically do the same thing. And we won't know what the other team's questions are, but we get to see the answers written down. So what you're and both teams are trying to guess the exact same item. So even though we don't know what the answers or the questions are being asked, we do get to see partial answers written out. So you're trying to kind of figure out, based on what you're thinking, and you're looking at their answers, trying to see, did these things kind of line up? And then the first team that can guess correctly wins. And it's very interesting. This was a lot of fun, but man, it was a lot of fun. It was hurting my brain trying to think like what are, like, you're looking at a couple of letters on the other side. You're like, okay, what is SC? Like, what? That means nothing. And there, at certain points, like, we can add an extra letter to a clue given on our side or on their side. And so we might pick one, like, we really don't know what this is. And, we can talk amongst ourselves, but we're really, like, both teams were like using their phone, like typing things in a notepad, because you can't talk out loud because the other team's going to hear you. So we're kind of like, pointing like this and typing on our phones, like, do we think this is that? And it's a lot of fun. It's really neat. So that's Phantom Inc. A team-based. Let's see what they call this. They say you've got two let's see, what is it? So their thing is, renowned mediums are competing to figure out a secret object and prove they can connect with the world beyond. The first team to figure out the secret object wins. That's their kind of tagline. So,
okay.
But think of it like 20 questions, but you're only asking one question at a time, but your team is not saying it out loud.
Yeah.
So the other team, you always get to see what the other team's answers start to be. But again, they could put one letter down and they're going to be like, stop. Okay, this is in line with what they were thinking with their question. And I'm like, okay, what does the letter S mean? That's meaningless to our team because we don't know the question.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really cool game.
Actually, what's interesting is I just pulled it up. This game was a SDJ recommended game last year, and it's also a Mensa recommended game.
Oh, yeah.
But then with a weight of 1.19 out of 5, you struggled with it.
Now, come on.
I know. I'm teasing.
It's not a hard game. The weight of the game is not hard. No, I got to defend myself now. But guessing words to very little clues, or being forced to ask that's certain questions that you may not ask, and you're like, well, like what was, like, we've had some where, like, we think, okay, this might be helpful, and our clue giver's like, this is not helpful at all. Well, we don't know what it is, So it is an easier game to learn. It's pretty easy to learn, but it's if you like word games, this is like awesome. If you don't like word games, then stay away from it. But it is an easy game for people to pick up. And I mean, it's ages 13 and up. We've had a couple, like, our first 2 rounds went real quick. Like, they guessed them immediately. The other team were just like, we didn't even get a shot, But then our third game it was a much harder thing to guess. And it was like the people that were running, like it was a husband and wife team that were playing the Clue Givers in the first 2 rounds. And they played, this was their game. They've played it a lot. And they were saying like the first 2 that came up, like the questions that were asked were like just perfect. Like they're like, this just normally doesn't happen. And it did like twice in a row. But then the third one was more, this game went longer and was more online with what they said what the game is normally like, where you are going back and forth and people are just like, even the other teams, like, we don't know. But it was interesting. It's like, soon as they had it, they did their turn and they got a clue and they're like, oh, and they knew what it was, but they have to wait till their next turn. But we figured it out before their next turn and we got the win. So it was pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. Again, Phantom Inc., really fun game. The other one, that's the last one that I played this week, is a game called Obscurio.
Okay.
And so I am not a fan of Dixit. I don't care for it. I never really, I've played it. I've played a couple different versions. I don't get it. Like, it didn't click with me.
It's not your jam.
It's not my jam. Then supposedly there's another game. Is it Mysterium, I think, is similar to Dixit, I guess. I've never played Mysterium. This is just what I've been told. But the people that brought Obscurio said they didn't like Mysterium. But then they played Obscurio, which is kind of Dixit-like and Mysterium-like, but a lot better. Okay. And so, and when they said Dixit, I was like, oh man, no. Well, this game is nothing like Dixit. It's Dixit in the fact that there's a clue giver. Again, it's a cooperative game, sort of. There is one person. We have like 8 people. One person is the clue giver.
8 people?
We had 8 people in the game.
Oh, wow.
Playing. You can play 4 to 8.
Okay.
So we had 8, and one person was the clue giver. They want everyone to win. They're trying to give you clues, but they can't talk. So there's like these pictures, these little dials that will have just pictures, kind of like Dixit style, right? And he's going to they will put these little pointers, either both of them on a picture or one on each picture, or there's these ways they can kind of try to communicate to you just by pointing to certain things. And then what there is there's this board out in front of you, and there's like 8 doorways, and they're going to have more pictures, and they're going to kind of come out randomly. So there's this whole setup thing, and there is a trader in the game. There is someone who's a trader. And the only way for them to win is to get the rest of the team, get the game to fail, to have us lose the game. It's the only way they can win. So they're going to try to maybe throw people off or skew what people might be thinking. And so there's this whole thing where you get cards dealt out. Someone's going to be the traitor, and then like at the beginning of a round, everyone closes their eyes. The person who is moderating the game, right, running the game, will tell, okay, the traitor, open your eyes. And they're going to show, they randomly pull some like cards off of the top of the disc, the pile. And they're all these little cards. They're like these circular discs, essentially, that have all these pictures on them. And he puts them into this like closed booklet, like sleeves them in. And then he opens it up and like, and I wasn't the trader, so I'm not exactly sure what the point of the trader doing this, but there's things.
Can you hear them do it?
No, because they don't. The moderator will just say, all they do is say, "Trader, open your eyes," and then you'll hear them say, "Trader, close your eyes," and then say, "Everybody, open your eyes." What they're doing, my understanding is that the trader is going to just like put some fingers up, like 1, 2, or 3, or whatever, or 8, to like remove a tile or something. So it's like they know they get to see what the door is. Okay, they'll know which door is the winning tile because we all have to basically, someone has to pick the right door for us to move out. And for those that didn't, you lose these little pieces off the board, right? And when you lose all the pieces, the game's over. So basically, it's like you got so many chances to get out. And then, so if everybody, like, if we have 8 players and there's 8 doors, one of them's a moderator. So now you have 7. You can you could just put someone select all 7 of the 8 doors. Odds are you're going to get out. The problem with that is everyone that was on the wrong door, there's those pieces come off the board. So you really want as many people going out the correct door as possible to save your pieces. In the easier games, you get more pieces. Now, we did win, but had we been playing hard mode, we would have lost because we looked at how many pieces we lost. And then we looked it up at the end and say, oh, in a hard game, you would start with this many, which we lost more than that. So the trader knows which tile is the proper door. And so that way they can try to skew things. And there's other things I think they can do to have like certain tiles removed. So they get to look at it and they're looking at the clues that they gave. So they might want to throw some things out. They can't throw the original door out, but they can throw other things that might, they might want to find stuff that might have more objects in it that like what he's pointing, what the person's pointing to. So like if they're pointing, say one of them's pointing to a sword and one's pointing to a statue, if the door itself is the only one that has a sword or a statue on it, they might want to trade some out and see if they can get other doors that come up that have those objects to try to get more people away from the door, right? If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but what's kind of neat about this game is that there are rules or traps. They're called traps that start out. And so sometimes like there's like a couple of filters. One's a red, one's like this, got this white stuff all over it. So you might have to put a red filter over the picture and it obscures basically all the color. So you can't really look at it. You don't know what, if if the person's pointing at a color that might represent the proper door you're trying to go to. The one with the white thing just like obliterates, like it might cover up what they need to point to. Sometimes there's rules where they can only put the pointers on one picture and not the other. There are rules that none of the doors are faced up when you start, and you have to reveal one door at a time. And then there's like this timer that's going, and if everyone doesn't pick a door by the time the sand timer runs out, then there's like another trap that comes in on the next game. So it's like you want to try to get through quickly to avoid getting additional traps in the next round. And there's all kinds of traps that are just crazy, like just awesome. Like I'm like, this is fun. This is really a fun game. Again, this is Obscurio, and I'm sorry, did I say that? Yeah, Obscurio.
Yeah, that's right.
And again, it's an easy game. The weight of 191. It's very easy to learn, very easy to play. But again, it's not necessarily an easy game to win.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've played Dixit, it's very abstract. Like you're trying to point to things. And sometimes our guy who was trying to get us to win, he's like, there was nothing for me to point at. Like nothing out there, none of the doors, like the 2 clues he had, nothing really matched. There was nothing he could really point to, so he had to kind of get very abstract about it. So it's a really fun game. Really did enjoy this one as well. So
very nice. Yeah, I remember when this game came out a couple of years ago. It was always intriguing, but it's one of those games that I don't say aren't really 2-player friendly, but they're really geared towards more players. So it's nothing that I ever really dug into.
Yeah, but that's what I played.
Okay. And real quick, in the hotness on BGG, the number 2 and 3 games are Carl Chudik games. Just saying. All right, so stop shaking your head.
I'm not saying a word.
And number 1 is Blood Rage Valhalla, which I didn't even know was coming out. They snuck that out. So it re-implements Blood Rage. Just saw that. That was interesting. Anywho, all right, let's hit the news really quick, and then we'll get on with the main part of the show. But before we get to the news, just want to let you know a couple ways that you can reach out to the podcast. You can go out to our website, thisboardgamelife.com. There's multiple ways on over there to communicate with us. All of our shows are over there, both on YouTube, links to everything, both podcast and the reviews and other YouTube content. There's a voicemail widget on the right-hand side of the screen you can use to leave us a voicemail, or you can always contact us by emailing contact@thisboardgamelife.com, as well as commenting on any of our other stuff on YouTube or on BGG, etc. So that answers that. So let's jump into the news real quick, kind of maybe blast through this, and then we'll hit the meat of the show. But you want to take a couple of these, or how you want to do this?
Oh, well, yeah, some of these are mine. All right, let's see which. So real quick, because we got a lot of stuff we want to talk about in our main topics. The if you're a fan of BGG, Board Game Geek, Rob and I love the Gen Con preview that W. Eric Martin does, and he has now published the Spiel SN25 preview. So you can go out there and check that to see what kind of games are going to be there. These companies will let him know what they're bringing, what's going to be available for demo, what's going to be available for sale, things like that. So you can kind of look through these lists and plan, if you're going to Spiel SN25.
Actually, you don't have to go. You can still, enjoy that list. Yeah. See what's new and exciting.
If you're going, it's really fun. It can be helpful to kind of make sure these are the things that I want to maybe check out, or, this is going to be there for sale. Maybe I better get on that right away. So it's a very helpful list. All right. What is next?
So that list, by the way, is up now in July, right?
July 8th.
And the show is like in October.
Correct. So it's not going to be complete.
Yeah, but still.
Even the Gen Con list is not complete.
Yeah, it's up, 4 months early, right?
It's a little early, yeah.
No, 3 months.
Let's see. Spiel is October 23rd to the 26th.
Yep.
So 3 months.
Time flies.
Little over 3 months.
Yep.
Yes, it does. So, all right. Next. Let's see. I think. Oh, you just had so I got the first 4 here, don't I? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So the next one is L.L.A.M.A Imports is taking over where Flat River Group left off. So in mid-April 2025, there was, obviously the talk about tariffs on goods entering the U.S. The Flat River Group had paused all game production and imports that it oversaw. And at the time, Flat River Group basically said all of their import business and game productions are on hiatus. And they described themselves as an e-commerce distribution partner, providing drop shipping service to its clients. And
my understanding is they partnered with a whole bunch of companies to kind of handle distribution to some degree, promotion, that kind of stuff. I don't know if they actually warehoused and shipped games, but they helped distribute the games within this region that
right,
were
in North
the United
America.
States. Yeah, North America.
But it got into publication business in December 2021 when it purchased Greater Than Games, followed up in 2022 by the purchase of a distributor publisher, L.L.A.M.A Imports, and publisher Synapsis Games. Now, in addition to owning those, Flat River Group developed itself into a company that would partner with non-American game publishers such as Yellow, Horrible Guild, and Sit Down to assist with the marketing, production, distribution of those titles in North America. Now, as of July 2025, that part of their business is over, with former VP of Hobby Distribution and Business Development, Jules Vittor, as Assistant Director of Hobby Distribution, Colin Young, and Danny Lowe, leaving FRG to launch a new distribution company in collaboration with ACD distribution owners, Bob Mayer and Danny Prossel. The name of that company, Luna Imports. Yes, the former brand has returned, which is perhaps maybe not surprising since Jules Vittor had founded L.L.A.M.A and was still company president at the time of its purchase. So kind of let's see, this is too big of a quote, but Luna, where did it go? So they're reviving the Luna Imports brand. They will operate under the ACD umbrella, providing publishers an alternate on-ramp into U.S. hobby games distribution. Sales and marketing services that were offered at FRG will continue, collaborating with FRG for support on e-commerce channels to ensure success for current partners. So, yeah, I don't know. There's just another kind of a change with all these things going on. There's more changes, but essentially it looks like whatever Flat River Group has, stopped doing, the Luna with working with ACD is going to still basically take that over. So we shouldn't really see any loss of games coming into the North American region.
Yeah.
And that's good.
And ACD's like a really big name in distribution. Wait, what did you say? The guys who founded ACD joined L.L.A.M.A? Is that how it goes?
See. There was a lot of names and a lot of... Okay, hold on. So...
Yeah, because I think you mentioned like two of the two guys that started it.
So ACD distribution owners was Bob Mayer and Danny Prossel.
Okay, so that's the owners.
That's the owners of ACD distribution, yeah.
Okay.
Now, Flat River Group did cancel its booth at Gen Con, but both Luna Imports and Synapsis Games will have a space at the show, booth 3039, if you're going. And it says it's about the farthest possible from the main doors of the exhibit hall. It's not going to be stuffed back in a corner, but they're there. That's going to be good.
Yeah, that's the one all the way on the end.
Yeah.
Because it starts with 100 over, I'll call it by the left side.
So
when you're looking at the hall.
And they're going to share some more information about their import structure, Synapsis operations, and publishing partnerships in the coming weeks. So we may have more around that. Okay. Another news item about changes in the gaming world. U.S. publisher Tabletop Tycoon announced the acquisition of Trailblazer game line from Mariposa Games, Canvas game line from Road to Infamy Games, and a handful of game lines from CMON, specifically Blood Rage, Rising Sun, Ankh Gods of Egypt, Arcadia Quest, and Starcadia Quest.
Okay.
On July 7th, Tycoon Games, the new name for Tabletop Tycoon, announced that it has acquired the Gamelin Games brand, including Tiny Epic and Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea Games, game lines, both which are created by designer Scott Alms. So there's a lot of changes going on in the industry right now. But what I'm really happy to see is these, other companies stepping up and picking up some of these brands so we don't lose them. And I do hope like Compile Main 2, which is supposed to come out this year. I know that was Greater Than Games and they got shuttered. So I'm hoping that gets picked up and someone still publishes and distributes that. So just some names to, publisher names and stuff are changing and a lot of acquisitions.
Yeah, and I just looked up Blood Rage Valhalla, which is published by Tycoon Games. It's going to be a 2026 release. So yeah, Tycoon Games is they've been busy lately. From the ashes of Game Salute, which is what they were years ago.
All right, and my last thing is French publisher Catch Up Games is going to release a tiny expansion for Castle Combo in November of 2025. It's called Chateau Combo to the Dungeons. This is going to consist of only 12 cards, with some featuring a padlocked effect that you can unlock by spending a key, thereby delaying the effect until it helps you the most, such as the couple that they said, such as the one found below, but obviously I'm not showing that. So, but yeah, you're going to have a couple more options to get cards and some that you can trigger when you wish. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Castle Combo is a really fun game. I finally got to play that recently and I really did enjoy it. So I will be happy to pick up a little 12 card expansion.
Okay. All right. Then a couple of game releases that are coming out sometime in the near future here. I thought I'd mention this one because this is one of the early games that I remember in my journey into this board game life. And that was Quirkle, of all things. So we used to play Quirkle a whole lot. And this was an SDJ winner back, I think like in 2011. Yeah. Yes, in 2011. And it's a game that I haven't played in a long time. I really kind of wore out on it and struggled with the colors on it as well sometimes. But what's interesting is that Susan McKinley Ross, who is the creator of Quirkle, is teaming up with Reiner Knizia, of all people. I think you might have heard of him. Yeah, he designed a couple 2-tree games. I don't know where he finds the time to do all this stuff, but anyway, they're coming out with a new version of Quirkle called Quirkle Flex. And it's going to be released by Mindware, I believe, later this year in August, actually. So coming up next month. And this is a little different, they say. They say here, take your Quirkle strategy in a whole new direction. Tiles with 3 different backgrounds create surprising opportunities to score diagonally. So a little bit of a different take on Quirkle. So I know a lot of folks really like this. This thing was sold everywhere. There's a bunch of different versions of it. And so now maybe this is like a sequel or a successor to it. And we'll see how it is once it releases. 2 to 4 player game. Looks like it will be at Gen Con. So Mindware is going to have Gen Cons over there. Our Gen Con copies available for people to buy. And and that's it. That's all I got. I'm not going to cover the other stuff.
All right.
But yeah. All right, let's
I'd check out a new Quirkle. I'd be all for that.
Yeah. Yeah, the like for me, I never really disliked the game. It's just I got so worn out on it because we used to play it a couple times a day. Actually, that was back in the day where I'd have my new game that I wanted to play so I could talk about it on the show. And it's like, all right, let's play this new game. Oh, let's play Quirkle before that game. And then it would be like 1 or 2 maybe sometimes 3 Corkle games in a row. And then the thing that I dreaded hearing is, I'm tired. That's enough for today. I'm like, I didn't get my game in. Anyway. So let's move it on over to the main topics, because I know folks are really like sitting on the edge of their seats waiting to see what we got brewing here. So first up, before we get on to the 3D portion of the show, I thought it would be fun to talk about some of the things that we really enjoy about games, and then some things that are a little irritating or that we don't care for. Right. So
okay.
this could be anything about a game, potentially. It could be production, it could be design, it could be implementation. So it could be a little bit of anything, right? It's not really sticking to any one particular topic, niche, whatever you want to call it. So let's go with you want the good news or the bad news first? Okay, let's do the bad news. Let's get it out of the way.
All right.
So why don't you take the first one, and then we'll kind of alternate and give commentary, because I got a lot of opinions.
Okay. So one of the things that I don't like are boxes that don't hold the original content. And I'm not talking, like, I get it if you got an expansion that it doesn't fit. I get that. It's shipped in a different box, but when you buy a game, and I'm talking retail versions that you will buy, and you punch stuff out, right, which should leave you more room, but
so you got rid of the sprues.
You
right?
Put the game into whatever, right? However, whether there's an insert or whether there's not.
Mm-hmm.
And usually if there's an insert, not always, usually it will fit. But what irritates me is, especially when you don't have an insert, I am annoyed by that. But when you have just an open box and the content doesn't fit without that lid lifting, like, it doesn't shut completely, and it absolutely drives me up the wall.
If it does not fit, you must have quit trying to fit it.
There you go. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's so annoying, dude. Annoying.
I get it. I get it, because there's a lot of games where if the lid doesn't fit snugly, well, not snugly, if it doesn't go all the way down, then the box tends to separate. The lid tends to move on the shelf. It tends to move off, because I've got a bunch of games that are like that.
Yep.
Where you pull it off the shelf and then all the stuff's fallen, and it's, now you got to reorganize everything to be able to sort of fit the lid back on.
Yep.
How about those?
Or buy straps.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, I shouldn't have to buy straps to hold the game together. Like, how did you make a game with components and put it all into a box that it doesn't hold the original content?
Yep.
Like, that's really poor planning. Really poor.
No, I get it. Oh, absolutely. How about those games that, you get them in the shrink, and then you see that, like, the lid is a couple of millimeters off the bottom? You know what I'm talking about?
Usually, though, that have a lot of cardboard that once you punch, it's gone.
Right.
Usually.
And then it does fit. That is
not always.
That is the big. That's like the big gamble there. You're looking at them. You're like, are you going to close? Are you going to close? And then you put that lid on. Oh, and then it's like a perfect fit.
But it's worse.
That's very satisfying. Yep.
When it's new and shrink and there's no lid lift. And when you open the game and you punch it and you put everything back then there's lid lift.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? I removed content out of here.
Yeah.
But it's not designed to fit in the box. It's ridiculous. So
yeah, and there's one game, I think it was the White Castle. It was one of those Devere games. I don't think it was Salton Sea. I think it was White Castle, where you have components to put together. Like there's these little bridges that you have to put together. And then once you put the bridges together, I struggle getting that game back in the box. Because now you have a 3D shape.
Yep.
That's got to fit in the box. And the last thing I want to do is to take that apart and flatten it. Maybe that's the trick. Maybe.
But some of those things, once you take them apart,
they wear out.
You ruin them, or they get ripped or torn because the company intends you to keep it together. It's like, yeah, but where am I going to put it?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
mm-hmm.
The next thing for me is one thing that really kind of irks me is games that are redone as new editions multiple times. And I don't mean something like
the Cities Collection.
What?
The Cities Collection.
The Cities Collection?
Stefan Feld's Cities Collection?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that's fine.
You say that because you love that game. You love
it. That's a little different. But
or Castles of Burgundy. How many times has it been redone?
That one is, I'll say, a special case as well. Notice I'm giving that one a pass.
You're giving Stefan Feld a lot of leniency. In other words,
yes.
Mr. Feld, you can reprint anything you want. Rob's going to buy it over and over and over. That's a compliment because his games you love his games so much that you're just going to keep buying them. But
yeah. But I mean it in a different perspective a little bit, and that's where
I'm teasing. Yeah,
no, I know. What I mean with this is where like Castles of Burgundy is a little bit of a different case because there was the original one, and then they came out with the anniversary edition, that's fine. Anniversary editions they're okay. And then there was the deluxeified special edition. That's okay. But there are some games, like, for example, what's a good one here? Like an example would be Fantasy Flight with Descent. So they had a game called Descent that I bought years ago. It came out in this huge box. They had tons of expansions for it. And then they came out with Descent 2. And they had an upgrade kit. And it changed the rules a little bit. And I think that was the one that also started with an app. I don't remember. But then, once you got going with that, then they came out with a third version. So now there's Descent, Into the Dark. I forget what the name is. That one came out, I'd say, within like the last 5-6 years. So here's a game that keeps getting redone, and it's different enough. And that is like really annoying to me. Another one is, what the heck was it? It was a Portal game. Portal Games game, where they kind of did the same thing, where it just basically, okay, here, we had the original release. Now we've got a brand new version of this whole ecosystem. The rules are changed. It's like that just irks me because I feel like I got an inferior product, or it's not good enough. Maybe there were problems with it. It got released too early or something like that. It's like, I would almost rather have it be a totally separate game. Like, for example, if Descent, and I know this is like stupid, and it's just a mental thing for me, but if there was the original Descent, coming out with Descent 2.0 is worse than coming out with the same game with a new name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel cheated, and especially if it's a big ecosystem, man, I'm gonna struggle to. I don't want to rebuy everything. So yeah, that's one irk that I have. How about you? What's your next one?
Okay. Gotta find my happy place.
Oh, deep breath. Oh, deep breath. Woosah. You got to tug on your ears and go woosah.
So I really despise when I get a game, I open it up and I break it out, and I'm learning how to play, and I like, and I find out that I can't play the game because it's missing pieces. There's components missing. And for example, Ark Nova, when I got my copy of Ark Nova, there was no pieces for the blue player. So I could play the game, but not at was it 4 or 5 players, and I couldn't play with the blue player. So again, the company solved it. I reached out, requested it, boom, no question that they sent it to me, right? Didn't charge me nothing, I mean, I appreciate that. That's very, very important that these game companies do take care of it when you get a game that's not complete. I had fromage, and one of the pieces were like printed backwards, like, so when you put it in your cheese slice, you don't see your character, like it's backwards. So they fixed that. But what's really aggravating is when you crowdfund a game and you've looked at it, and then you get the game, and then you're reading the rules, and it says you're supposed to have so many pieces, and you're like, I'm missing some pieces. And then you look at the crowdfunding and the information that was there, and you're like, yeah, it even shows in this picture that there's this many of this particular tile. And then you go and look at the rule book, and again, obviously that's where you first found it. So then you go online to the company website and you look at their rule book online, and it says the same thing the rule book does in your box. And then you see pictures all over the website of these tiles that you don't have. So then you complete the form to say, hey, I'm missing this. And the company comes back and says, oh, that was a misprint in the rule book. You do have the correct amount. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I get that you might have misprinted the rule book, but how did you misprint the rule book and all of your photos of this game and everything else showing this particular number of tiles that you say are aren't in the game? And I'm not going to throw the game company under the bus. I'm just not. But I am convinced, based on their website, their crowdfunding site, all the pictures, the rule books, and it's not just the rule books. I get a rule book could be wrong, and they can fix that. But all the pictures and the media content that is there still on their website to this day shows these tiles that the company now says, oh no, that was just a misprint in the rule book. You don't misprint the rule book and all the photos. These things were there. They made a mistake at the factory. And I think the company does not want to pay to ship everybody that bought this game a new tile, because it would cost them a lot of money to ship to everybody. And that really irritates me. And I really do believe the company is just saying, oh, it's a rule mistake, but it's not.
Okay.
So
basically, you don't care for
I don't like
covering
missing component.
Yeah, that covering for some kind of mistake or whatever.
Well, I don't like missing components, but the flip side of the even worse is when the company says, oh no, that's just a rule print misprint.
Mm-hmm.
When it's obviously not, because we've seen so many pictures, different pictures on multiple sites, including their own. To the day I sent that to them, their site was still showing that.
Yep.
It's like, you got a lot more than a rule book issue. And so, you know, I'm not going to back this company anymore. I've had quite a few quality issues as of late.
Okay.
I've backed a lot from them, and I pretty much, I think at this point I'm done, because I really do believe at this point, you burned me once, you burned me twice, you've burned me three. Now, okay, this is like the fourth time, and I think this one's egregious. So I don't like that. I think that's bad. It doesn't help the industry. If you say if the game's supposed to include it, you better give it to the consumer. If you screwed up, that's your problem. That is not the customer's problem. Anyways, enough. Whoop.
Yep.
All
right.
Back to my happy place.
So my next one is, this has to do particularly with cards. A lot. Not every game has cards in it, but a lot do. And some games are nothing but cards. Like, for example, Dominion or some of these other, deck builder games. But what really is annoying to me is when these, or any kind of game, has an insert or some kind of method for storing cards. And I'll use Dominion as an example, right? This is a game that it's a deck builder that you shuffle a whole lot and the cards get a lot of use. So those are the games that typically you want to have sleeved, just so that the cards don't get jacked up and so forth. They're protected. And what really irritates me is that when you have these games that, I'll say, the publishers, designers, whatever, can pretty much expect a fair amount of people to use sleeves with, and then the inserts or the box is not sleeve friendly. A really good example too is L.L.A.M.A. The first version came in one of those, I don't know how to phrase it. It's the cardboard box that's as big as like 252 card packs. You know what I'm talking about, Mark?
Yeah.
If you had like 252 card packs and you put them side by side and those fit in the bottom, next to each other, and you closed it. Like there's Lookout games, a lot of those. And anyway, Urbion, which is another one of the Oniverse games, that came that way originally. L.L.A.M.A. came that way originally before they went into this bigger format box, which they still use today. But L.L.A.M.A. is a game that I don't know of a game that you shuffle more than L.L.A.M.A. It's probably the most shuffled game that I've ever played, because you're constantly shuffling this deck over and over. And I wanted to sleeve it. There's no way. There's zero chance of getting that lid on, because when you put sleeves on any card, it increases the thickness of the stack of cards. So, because you've got, the plastic in front and behind each card. So that's one thing that really irritates me. If you're going to have a game that people will probably sleeve, definitely support a sleeved deck within your box. And one final thing to add is, if you have a game and if the publisher has a game and the publisher sells sleeves for that game, also have the box support a sleeved deck. Because now at this point, it's like, because some of these games have really nice sleeves. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's, they have like the colorful art backs, like, what's that space deck builder? from White Wizard Games, Star something. You don't talk about it's the game that I brought to Arizona when we came to visit that one time. We never finished a full game of that Star.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Maybe it'll come to me. But actually, they just launched a Kickstarter the other day for like a new version of this game. But anyway, yeah, if the manufacturer especially has sleeves that they sell as a premium add-on, please have a box that fits the sleeve deck. Because that's so annoying not to be able to fit it.
Are you talking about Star Realms?
Yeah, Star Realms. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they have really nice Star Realms sleeves. But yeah, again, that's enough of this one. But yeah, sleeved cards. Please have a box that fits them. All right, you're up. What you got now?
All right, next, my last complaint. The last, because Rob limited me. He says, you're not going to sit here and complain all day, because I could complain all day. I mean, who can't, right? But I got some good stuff, you know. But my last complaint is crappy components, specifically really, really cheap or thin cardboard. I have one on my shelf that I've replaced with plastic upgrades because, like, even punching it was like you were punching like toilet paper. It was so thin. It was crazy. I'm like, come on, you know. And we talked about this in the show, and back when we got this was like last year, Gen Con. I think Rob got the game, and then I got it later, and it was Comic Hunters, and it was like, how is this so bad? Like, you could have bought a little game. Bit. I'm sorry. Yeah, I need more than a piece of toilet paper, you know, for my little cardboard and my stuff. So that's just ridiculous. I expect a little bit better. I at least expect your generic cardboard punch that's a little bit thicker, a lot thicker than what they give you in that game. That was just like a sheet of paper that they just printed, and it's like I'm punching. It's like, oh my gosh, this is going to tear. It's going to rip.
Yep.
That was bad. So you know. If it's going to cost $5 more, I would have paid $5 more.
Yeah, I would say the quality of it is kind of like on par with what you would find in like a Hasbro game for little kids.
Yeah, and this is like
Chutes and Ladders.
Not what that was. Yeah, that's not what this game was. Mm-hmm. And the people that were going to buy this were going to pay. They would have paid a couple more bucks, and no one would have complained. If you know, to cover the cost of a little bit thicker cardboard, a lot thicker cardboard. Actually, cardboard. But
every time they have this, that's an opportunity to have a deluxified version.
Yeah, but they didn't offer one.
No, it comes out later, a couple of years. So you rebuy the game. It's like the game coming out on vinyl, then it comes out on 8-track, then you buy it. You know, you buy it again, and then it comes out on CD. You buy it again.
Well, I can say that 2 of my complaints are now complaints of the past.
There you go. That is true. And
more on that later.
Yeah, and I was gonna also add, when you have, well, what I'll call, you know, chintzy cardboard, if it's even cardboard, because I don't think some of it even counts as cardboard. What we know is cardboard is also components that are warped.
Oh yeah,
that's really annoying. Like where you have that, let's say like player board that you can spin like a top. You can just give it a good spin, and then it just spins for like 30 seconds because that's how well balanced the curvature of it is. Okay. And then my last one here, this is going to take us out of the bad list, is box size variants. And this one, I'll say, goes across a couple of different things. But you all know exactly where I'm probably going with this. So first of all is where you have a series of games, and every add-on to it is a different shape. It's a different size. Okay, if you have, let's say, like a Ticket to Ride box for the main game, and then you have an expansion that needs its own box, or let's say some kind of add-ons, if they're the same size, let's say of, length and width as the main box, fine. You can put them next to each other on the shelf and they're fine. But when you get some of these like add-ons or subsequent versions of these games and you want to keep them together and that other stuff is a goofy size, you can't put that next to the main box. So like a prime example is going to be there's a game called Seasons where its expansions came in these little teeny boxes. Seven Wonders, I believe, also kind of had a similar type of thing. And funny, I just saw you typing that. So Seven Wonders, I believe, also had like add-ons and such that had other sizes. And I'm not even going to go into the metal boxes.
Oh, what? I'll do it. I'll do it. Forbidden Island.
I was going to say
4 games, and the third one in the series is in a cardboard box that's bigger than all the others. And then your 4th game, you go back to the metal tin. Oh, I hate the metal tin, but now I got 3 out of the 4 in the series.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the metal tins are annoying because they do dent. Like if you put any weight on the top, it will like concave itself.
But then my OCD, man. Yeah. Like you're talking about box size and variance. Now you've got 3 tins, a cardboard box, another tin. Oh, and the cardboard box is taller. Like, how? Who did that? Oh, man.
Yep.
Home.
Yeah. And then that creates, all right, Ticket to Ride size boxes, cool. They're fine. They fit nice on a calyx. And then when you have what I'll call the L.L.A.M.A sized boxes, the ones that they use in a ton of their games, fine. It's kind of like a common standard. Then there's like the smaller L.L.A.M.A size that some games were using for a while. That's like the bulk of them, right? And then you get the odd shapes. And I really struggle. It's like, you're basically playing like a 3D like
Tetris game
width
on your
and height
shelf.
Tetris game trying to fit these on your shelf because it is a problem. Shelf space is a luxury. And you try to cram as many games as you can, and then, good luck trying to find something later on. But yeah, boxes that are inconsistent, both in size and even construction, metal versus cardboard, very annoying. Very annoying. And then also, like Flip 7 that comes in that tuck box. I do not like those. I do appreciate how the tuck boxes, they don't come apart. Like if it had a lid, right? I mean, the reason why I think they use the tuck boxes is that they can easily make it so it hangs on a shelf off of a peg hook. Right. I get that. So, Flip 7 is going to be very retailer friendly. You can probably sell it in, Target, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, maybe even, I don't know. But, yeah, I feel like I'm tearing the box when I get that thing open. But anyway,
boxes, yep, hate them.
Yeah, that's first world problems, right?
Yes,
first world hobbyist gamer problems. And with that being said, that's the end of our list of gripes. And I can add one last thing before we move on to the good stuff, the thumbs up stuff. And that's that if you've got some gripes that really bug you about games or the hobby in particular, just let us know. Reach out to us, either shoot us an email, say, hey, episode 100, these are my gripes, these are the things I like. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll read the stuff on the show. You can also do a recording of it, let's say on your phone, and send us an MP3. We'll play it on the show, and you can also use our voicemail widget. So with that being said, how about we get on to the good stuff that we really like, that we really enjoy. Why don't you take this first one?
Inserts that hold all your content. And not only do they hold all the content in the game, plus sleeves, if they give you, like Rob said, if you're going to sell me sleeves special for the game with all the art and stuff on it, your insert should hold that. But also thinking ahead, and if you've got expansions, making room in that box for future expansions. And I believe it's Unstoppable that has done this recently. And I remember when I opened it up, there's like foam in the blank spots so that it'll hold your current stuff, but there's room to pull the foam out and put the expansion content that they're planning to release. I think they got 2 or 3 planned to come out this year. Like, it will all fit in my main box. They thought about that. They knew what they were doing. I was so impressed that there was places already prepared for holding future expansions. Thank you so much. Thank you. I was very happy that you made this consumer very happy, and I will buy the expansion content because I got a place to put it.
Actually, you know what you're supposed to do? So, like, for example, if it looks like it can hold maybe like 2 expansions worth, what you have to do is, as soon as you get like the Game of Unstoppable, you open it up and you see those spaces for it, you need to roll up some money and just tuck it in there for when the game actually, releases the expansions.
And now you got your money.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can buy it.
Then you're all set. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. One thing that I really appreciate, and unfortunately, it's not too many games that have this, but when the games have some kind of, especially when they have some kind of elaborate tray system for storage, have some kind of either instructional video, have some kind of insert, have a portion of the rule book that just tells us where to put stuff. Because a lot of times these inserts are purpose built. The designers had a certain intent of, or the designer of the insert rather, had some kind of intent of where the stuff would go. Just let us know, because I like punching games. It's sort of therapeutic to sit there and you kind of look at everything, punch it out, sort it. The thing that I really don't like is trying to figure out where stuff goes. That just drives me bonkers. That is not therapeutic. That's annoying.
Then you're trying to look up. You're trying to look up a video or a PDF of something that someone's done, going, "Hey, here's how I put it together."
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Annoying.
Like, there are some games where people have actually created whole videos, like 20-minute videos of how to get everything back in the box and where it goes. Castles of Burgundy Special Edition. And I just appreciate seeing where the stuff goes. And also sometimes when there's multiple trays, like let's say if there's like, different game trays of different sizes and the stuff needs to be stacked. Yeah, just show us how it all goes back together. Yeah. It doesn't take much. You can even do a QR code. I'll go to the website. It doesn't have to even need to be like a sheet of paper or part of the rule book. Just as long as there's something that tells us where it goes. And, that
it is not always obvious.
No. Yeah.
No. So.
All right. What's your next one?
I love a rule book that's large enough to read. My old eyes, I can read it. And I love when they have examples. So when they tell you something,
Oh,
they
yeah.
show you on the card and they're pointing.
Illustrations. Yep.
Yes. And the best part of the rule book that also I love, which even more than the examples, is a page or an area dedicated to setup. So first of all, like the components, listing the components, and not just a list, but showing them with their name next to them. That is huge. Then having, here's how to set up the board. Some of these games, like, okay, here's how to set up the board, and then say this goes here, and then you have like item number 1, and then you have a picture of the board, and it goes item number 1 goes here, 2 goes here, 3 here, and the player setup, same if they have a player board, letting us know where everything goes. Just speeds up setup, especially the first time when you're trying to learn it. So some of these games are big, have a lot going on, and I'm really happy when I get a good rule book that helps that process, just makes it so much easier, just takes all the guessing out of it.
Oh, absolutely. And especially when they show, like when you have, this massive deck of cards, and then you have to split that deck into, I don't know, 4 different piles, because, one pile might be events, and then the other might be like treasure, then something else is like power-up cards or something. It's not always obvious when you're playing the game for the first time as to what the cards are and how to separate them. So having like clear info as to like, all right, look for this card back, look for this, color or this shape around the border of the card. That really helps.
Yes.
And then one thing that I also really appreciate is that Kickstarters that release reasonably on time or early, I definitely appreciate that. It's a little annoying. There was a time where I would really watch Kickstarters and, read about the status on them. I don't do that so much anymore. Like nowadays, I know you're in this situation, Mark, where it's like, oh, UPS shows up, a box showed up. I have no idea what it is. And then you find out it's a Kickstarter that you backed 2.5 years ago. And it's like, okay, I totally forgot that I backed it. And I don't even remember what the game is now because I totally forgot about it. So I appreciate when the games come out early, when they come out on time. If they say it's going to take a year and it comes out in a year, great. It doesn't have to come out immediately. It doesn't have to be something that comes out in a couple weeks, like Queen games. We've talked about this before, where the games are, on their way. They're heading to distribution when you do the Kickstarter, and then you get the game in a couple weeks. Even that's fine. But yeah, don't. I just don't. I don't really care. I'm trying to be positive. I need to be positive and not bring up the negative in this.
Yeah.
I appreciate games that ship on time.
There you go.
Yep.
Well, especially since we put our money up front and spent our money a long time ago. So I know things happen, but it's nice that the company that will respect our money and our backing them. I don't know, when it ships a year or two later, it's like, you really, I look at it as like they didn't care, and it depends. If it's a large company, they didn't care. If it's an individual or very small organization, then I got a lot more leeway because they're maybe new. It might be their first one. They maybe they're not going to retail and everything is just what they're doing in their crowdfunding, and they're small, and I can respect that. I get it. Okay. You need more time. Things are,
right on.
So,
yeah. And let me branch out real quick. I had a game. How long ago? This was a little while ago that I kickstarted, and then that company had a bunch of other games that they kickstarted, and then what they wound up doing is they said, "Hey, we're gonna combine all of these." So they ship over at the same time. they all didn't kickstart at the same time. So this turned into one of those where, you know, you kickstarted it and then it's like you forget about it because it just sat in a container. It just sat at a printer or a manufacturer just waiting to ship out because the company wanted to save shipping costs. You know, because, you know, I get from a business perspective, maybe that makes sense. You know, I'd rather have the company do something and not go bankrupt or belly up or be able to, you know, not ship the games, whatever it is. But, you know, to have them hold something that I paid for a long time ago is not cool.
Right.
You know, because I'm paying full price for the shipping. Because you know how ridiculous how expensive some of the shipping is. You know, you buy a $40 game and you pay $20 in shipping for a Kickstarter. Actually, let me take that back. You're not buying a $40 game. You're kickstarting a $40 game and then you pay $20 shipping. So now it's a $60 game. But anyway, all right. I don't want to derail this too much. So, yeah, I appreciate Kickstarters that release reasonably on time or early. What you got?
All right. So my last thing is amazing components and table presence. And I can't help but think of Skyrise. Or Thunder Road Vendetta, you know, or like those two are the ones that come to my mind the most, like especially Skyrise. Just and I'm talking like with Skyrise, I'm talking not the retail version, but like the premium edition. This is with, you know, the really beautiful sculpted buildings that are different for every player. Like it's not just a different color with every player. Their building architecture is also different and it's unique. And it's just like when this thing is on the table and everyone has their buildings out there, it is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks
and
cool.
People are always like, ooh, what is that? What is that? It's just, yes, I love that.
Yeah, Skyrise took a page out of the Santorini book in terms of looking kind of neat on platforms.
Yeah.
And then my last thing is games that are colorblind friendly, where they have been made with at least some kind of, you know, adherence to make things a little bit easier for folks that are challenged with the colors. And there's a number of different ways that companies can do this. They can put shapes on the pieces or the cards. Because we see this in a lot of games. This is one great way that they do it, where let's say if you have faction cards of different colors, then they might have diamonds on one, or they might have, you know, squares, circles, you know, different geometric shapes, or other methods, crosshatches, whatever it is, to help folks differentiate it. Because I know sometimes for artistic purposes, that, you know, they might not want to go too crazy with the colors. And, you know, when you're colorblind, and, you know, some folks are worse than others. Thankfully, I'm colorblind, but not too bad. But still, red-green is a problem. And when a game does not take into account its color choices, games are unplayable. They are utterly unplayable. Like, as an example, Quirkle, the original version that I got many, many moons ago, like 15 years ago almost now, there were times where I could not tell the difference between the purple and the blue colors. And you can't play the game. You just can't, because half of the tiles all look the same. Granted, light does factor into things. So if you, let's say, maybe use a daylight bulb instead of an incandescent, it might help. But I really appreciate games that take that into effect or into their considerations, and they just make it easier for folks. All right, so that's our list of good stuff. And again, if you have something that you find that you really enjoy that we haven't talked about, just let us know. Send us an email at contact@thesport.game.life or hit us up in the comments on BGG or YouTube or whatever, and we'll throw it in here. All right, on to the really meaty stuff here. I am dying to find out about this because, Mark, you have embarked on a bold journey. I was going to try to say something Star Trek, like something really clever about like a 5-year journey. Hopefully, I don't want to make it a 3-hour tour.
No, I've gone beyond the 3-hour tour, but it's pretty exciting.
You are boldly going to a place where other people have gone before.
Yes,
isn't that the Star Trek or a bold new journey where people have not gone before, or something like that? I don't know. I don't remember it exactly. Yeah, that's the Star
boldly
Trek
go
life
where no man
show.
has gone before.
You are boldly going where other people have gone before you.
Exactly.
But,
it's not that bold.
You are going in their footsteps.
But
maybe it's not bold, but it's pretty darn cool. And that is the world of 3D printing. So now, cue the logo and intro music for this 3D printing life. Just kidding. So tell us what's been going on.
All right, I will if you let me. It's like you're more excited than I am.
I am.
I know.
I want to go down that road too.
You were close. I almost talked you into it the other day, but so I have been looking at 3D printers for a while, and I just I just kind of felt it was something that I probably didn't want to mess with. It would probably be a lot of expense, and then maybe I wouldn't use it. But I've spent a lot of money on inserts, for games, specifically when you get an expansion or you buy a game retail or crowdfund or whatever, but you get the game and it doesn't fit in the box. And like I said, one of my complaints earlier is now not a problem for me. It's not a solution it shouldn't be a solution where these companies, just print yourself an insert. No, that's not how it should work. But I now have the ability, and I've queued up a couple that for some games that Rob and I both have recently got. And I think, Rob, you were the one that sent me hey, look at this insert. And I'm going to be printing those very, very soon. I got one queued up already. So I'm going to fix the problem of the stuff not fitting in the box. But I did go, Bamboo Labs has a anniversary sale going on right now. It's like their 3rd anniversary, and it was pretty significant.
Sale.
Yeah. It is. And it's the ones I've been looking at, and I've done a lot of reviews and watched a lot of information about them. And basically it comes down that it seems like for what I want to do, again, this is for what I want to accomplish and what I want to do, that the Bamboo Labs P1S is a perfect device for me. And so I decided to order these from the company. And I did get an AMS, which allows me to have like 4 different colors if I want, and going into the printer so it can auto print multiple colors and stuff like that.
Did it come quickly?
Know if
a couple of days, or did you wait a long time?
It wasn't a long time. I think it was within 10 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It took a while. I ordered it like over the 4th of July weekend, I think right before. So that
was last week.
Delayed it.
That was a couple of days ago.
Wait, was it? No. Then I ordered it before that.
The 4th of July was Friday.
It was before that.
Okay.
I don't remember. I think I got it. Maybe it was the end of June, but we had the holiday in there too. So, and I don't remember if I must have got it before the holiday then. I got it on Monday, right? What is today?
Today's Tuesday.
Oh, I didn't get it.
You've had it over a week?
No, I don't.
I'm so excited about this. You don't even know what day it is or where you're at.
I don't even know when I got it. All I know is I've been printing every day since I've had it. Look at that's crazy.
It's got like 3,000
stop
miles on
asking
it
me
already.
questions. You're causing me problems. Don't ask me questions
Ask
for
you hard
answers
questions.
I don't know.
Yeah, when did you get it?
I don't know. Like 3-4 days ago. Anyway, I think it showed up on Saturday. I don't know. I've been on vacation, and
It's
that's
like,
the problem.
It's like
I was
I'm
on
asking
vacation last week.
It's like I'm asking you some crazy question, like when did you talk to Gavin Newsom or something like that? And,
I know.
Never mind.
I was on vacation, so days have run together.
That's right. All last week. Yep.
I was on. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't remember. So I think it showed up sometime before the 4th. It had to arrive before the 4th because that was just 4 days ago. But anyways, doesn't matter. I got it right. So the most, and the reason I went with this one is, so I've watched a lot of reviews, and I was watching another one from the Dice Tower. So Joey from the Dice Tower does a ton of printing. He does a lot. And he had a video he did like about 4 months ago.
So he prints for himself, or does he have like a business?
I think does it for himself.
Okay.
As far as I know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he does a lot of his own prints and things. So he said he's always asked like which one to get for someone that just wants to print. And he says in this video, he's like, my answer was always none. But then he got pointed into the bamboo. Someone said, look, you need to check out the bamboo. And so he checked out the P1S and he said, this thing works. And he basically talked about it, some, setting up and printing his results and all these things. And at the end, he said, for someone that doesn't want to tinker around, mess around, just wants to print, which is exactly what I want to do. He said, this thing is great. It does a great job. The stuff it prints out is amazing. It's very easy to use. And I can echo all that. The hardest part was probably getting it set up. And it was just taking the AMS because it's packed with Allen wrench screws and stuff into the inside. So there's, you got to follow some steps to get everything unpacked and removed. And there's, just follow your steps and you'll be fine. And then, but it once it's all connected, which again is really easy, they say 15 minutes. I say give yourself 45 minutes to an hour. Just make sure you're reading everything. Once you've done one, and I could probably do another one in 15 minutes, but you really can get up and running within the hour. And I did print my very first thing I printed was a scraper tool, which was kind of built in, and it's a built-in thing that comes. You get several things that are like preloaded into the printer that you can just hit the thing on the little LCD screen and print, and it'll just bloop, bloop, it starts. So I've done that. Then there's like a setup, like connected to your Wi-Fi. You download the app on your phone, and it was so easy to set up. And this thing's like connected to my wireless, and I could even share this printer like if I wanted. Like I could share it like Rob, but I'm not going to because he's going to take over and never let. And then he'll print all the stuff here, and I'm like, I'll have to ship it to him, and I won't let that happen.
Well,
I'll be canceling all your prints.
Yeah, you can, print everything and then just bring it with you in your empty suitcases.
There you go.
For Gen Con.
Yeah, so I printed a little scraper, and when you get it, you get this box of stuff, and it included a blade and some screws, and you basically print everything else. So you print the scraper handle and this other little piece that, and then a holder. So you print these things out, it prints them all out, you take it out and you put the screws in, and like I got this scraper, which is great because I can, use it on the plate. So if there's remnants of anything left over, then you can just scrape it right off, which is awesome. So I'm like, hey, I just made my own tool. The very first thing I did was printed a scraping tool, which works great. Mm-hmm. Then I did an insert for a game. So right now I think I have printed 3 or 4 inserts for different board games. So I did things like Rock Hard 1977, which has nothing. Everything was in baggies.
Oh, yeah.
Now everything is, the cards are fitting in their own spots. All the components have their own trays. The players, all their pieces go into their own little trays. I can just pull it out and hand it to them. I don't have lid lift anymore on this box, which nice. I had quite a bit before.
Yeah, and some of these,
that was nice.
some of these like inserts that they have, the cool thing about them is that they are those inserts then that you can use and just give to players, right? Like
Yep.
you have all the blue players' components in one little tray. So it's all organized.
Yes.
And then when you go to play the game, you're just like, okay, you get this, you get this, you get this, you get this. And then this is the central stuff. So it really helps with, setup of the games and also putting it away. And you don't have to buy anything like from game trays or something like that where.
Right. And I was,
designed that.
so I was doing a video of these things, which these are really nice. If you don't, these are from
GenX.
They don't they don't pay me. I bought a couple of these. I like the smaller ones. It holds like 9 different things. These things are awesome. If you don't have a 3D printer, then I honestly think these are really good way to go. Because then and I'm showing these on the video, but they have these little trays that have a lid, and then they have like these different compartments that you can pull out and put on the table so that your coins or your resources, you just pull the tray out and leave it, or put the whole container out on the table. And it has a lid, and everything goes back easy peasy. So now I don't have to buy those. I can just print things like this that will go into them. And that's kind of the main reason I bought a printer, was I wanted to print inserts. A lot of, and I was spending money. Sometimes I'd pay as much as I did for the game just for an insert. And it's like, that gets expensive. So now I can print them for, a lot cheaper. Yes, I got to buy the printer and I got to buy all the filament, but in the long run, if I'm going to be printing stuff, which I'm going to be printing a lot, then it will eventually, pay for itself. So then I printed
up. And then also, just to chime in one thing too, is when you have inserts, usually you're going to get either the foam core ones, which, are they're a little annoying sometimes, and you have to glue them or tape them or something like that. And they also take up so much room, right? Because of the thickness of the foam core. And when you have the laser cut wooden ones, those add so much weight. They'll sometimes double the weight of the box. So the nice thing about having what do they call it? PLA?
Yeah.
Right? That's the filament. When you have those, they're not that heavy, right? So they're thin. So that kicks the butt of the foam core, and it's light.
And it's durable.
As well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to last. So I will say this thing's incredibly easy to print. Though there's an app on your phone. You can install the app. You can print right from the app directly to the printer.
Oh, that's cool.
You can also, what I love on here, it's kind of neat. It's a gimmick, but you can pull up, it has a camera inside. And you can look at your print job. So I'll often look at my phone. I'll pull up the app and see the status of my print job. It tells me how much time's left, what the percentage is. But I can also look at the camera, and it'll show me the print going on in the thing. And if you see that for some reason it's failed, then instead of letting it continue and waste all the filming, you can stop it and cancel that print so that you're not wasting it. But I will say, so far I have printed, I think, 3 different game inserts. I have printed the scraper handle. I have printed this large, we can call it a poop bucket. When you do multicolor printing, there is a spot on the back of this printer where it has to clear out, when it's done printing red and it needs to switch, it has to clear the red filament out. And so that gets it shoots it out the back. So you got to have like this little bucket to catch it. And I printed my bucket with this thing, and it was designed for this. It wraps right around the side so I can see it. And it's a reminder that bucket's there, that I can look at it to make sure, if it's just sitting behind it, you might forget about it. But this way, when it wraps around the side, so you can see, it's really neat. It has the Bamboo logo on it and everything. You can print it in whatever color you want. But I printed that thing, and this thing also is pretty quick. my dad's here visiting, and he's impressed with how well and like how fast this prints. You're not going to print out an insert in an hour or less. I mean, it's going to take several hours. These things take several hours. Some print jobs can multiple hours, but it does a great job. And once it's done, if you just let it sit and cool off, you just walk up and pull them right off. Now, if you go too early and it's still warm, it will stick to the plate. But if you don't want to grab them right away when they're done, you do risk
deform it.
You can break it. You won't really deform it, but it's still warm, and you could it'll be more brittle at the start.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Let it cool off, and then like I printed something overnight. I came down the next morning, and it was the first time I wasn't like trying to kind of pry it off of. You grab them and they it's almost like a suction cup. It's like kind of stuck to the grit to the plate, but they pop off. It's and I've not had anything like I haven't broken anything yet. But the book does tell you for small print jobs, wait a certain amount of time to let it cool.
Sure.
But I had a pretty big run, and I let it go overnight. The next day I came down and I grabbed them. It was like they just like I picked my mouse off the tip. There was no sticking. It just pops right. It just comes right off. It was just like laying on the table. So once it cools, it does release from the print bed. I also have printed out some. I did this as kind of like because in the app, you'll get, like, if they kind of have this training thing, like, oh, do this. So there's a couple of things they have you do in the app to kind of learn how to use the tool, how to print. And then you get, if you do both things, you end up with like some coupons which are pretty significant. Okay. Really good. But I was printing out it's a fidget cube, I think is what it's called. So if you're familiar with like a widget or a fidget spinner or a fidget toy, that's what this thing is. And I was looking at it, and it folds into a cube and folds out. And I was like, I wonder if this is going to print like where I have to snap pieces together so that it moves. Mm-mm. I printed the thing. It was done. It was one piece. I pick it up and I'm just, wow, it's hinged. And I'm like, I'm like flipping it and playing with it. I was like, and I'm like sitting there. I'm like, how did this do this? Like, I'm so impressed. It's like it built me a toy that I picked up and it works. I didn't have to put anything together. I didn't have to snap pieces. It's all hinged and it works. And so and I'm not a fidget person, but I've been playing with this thing ever since I bought it. So then I printed out 2 more this morning, and I made, and I did 2 at the same time. And I actually made a multicolored. My dad's from Florida, so I printed one in blue and orange, so it kind of looks like Florida Gator colors. Well, it is the Gator colors, so I gave that to him, and he's like, "Oh, this is so cool!" But he was amazed too. He's like, "How does this?" And we're looking at it like, "How did it print this so that it's working?" Like it's a whole new world. There's so many things to do that this thing can do, and another thing, I think it was the last thing I printed, was my youngest son, has a whole bunch of Lego minis. He's got like 100 of those little miniature Lego characters. And I was flipping through the app, just kind of looking at different things that are out there. And I saw these little rectangular boxes that are like display boxes that you can put 4 of your minifigures in. And it's like black, but the background is like printed in white. And if you have watched Star Wars and seen kind of like that, it looks like they're standing in the Death Star. It looks like they're in a hallway on the Death Star with that kind of black and white, texturing and the coloring, the design. And I'm like, walls, this looks so cool. Yeah. Like, and so I printed out like 4 of these things for him. And I'm like, I'm not printing out enough to put all 100.
You got to do like 20 more. Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, so he's got like 16 of his characters, but he's got all his like clone troopers lined up, and they even have it's got a little thing in there so like they can sit right in there on a little, like these little pegs or whatever, so they don't even fall over. And I'm like, this is so nice. Cool. And it looks awesome.
So basically you printed him Star Wars Kallax shelves for his Legos.
So I don't know if this will. I'm going to try to zoom in here. I got a picture of it. So I'm going to hold this up. So those that are watching online, you can see it in my camera. So, and then there's another one right next to it. But you can see how it looks like they're standing on the Death Star with the white and the way that's slotted in the back.
Yep.
I'm like, that is so cool. And so, like, there's like, he's got his little display of 16 of them, his little clone troopers. But
yep.
I'm like, so I'm printing out toys and things for my son. I'm like, I thought I got this just for gaming. Like within the first week, I'm just like, I'm looking for other things. Like, what can I print? You know, outside of all my gaming stuff, I still have a bunch of things. It's going to get, I'm not running it now because we're recording, but I'm going to be printing several inserts now for some games that the base game doesn't fit in the box, but it will when I'm done. So, yeah, it's cool. I am very surprised. I have had, knock on wood, I have had no failed prints at all. It has worked. Everything has turned out perfect from the very first print. And I am absolutely blown away by how easy it is. There is also I think it's called Bamboo Studios. There's an application that you can put on your computer. And you don't have to know how to design anything. That's another thing. So if you're avoiding 3D printing because you're like, well, I don't know how to make stuff, you can go. So Bamboo Labs also connects into Maker's World, which is a site you can go into Maker World right now and just look at all the different models. And you're downloading STL files. You're just downloading them and then you're putting them into this Bamboo Studio. Mm-hmm. And then you're basically selecting colors, and that's about it. You're just like, print. It's pretty much as simple as that. Now, if some things are too big, it'll let you know it doesn't fit, you know, and then but it, like I had one component tray that was too big. It went off the plate, and there's a button. So I had the whole piece highlighted, and there's a button where it was like split. So I hit it, and it automatically cut this into like two pieces. And then I just moved the one over and I repositioned the other one, and I could print both of them on the same plate. And they don't have to be together because it's a game insert. They're still going to sit next to each other, but to print the software is like, oh, I'll split this so that we can fit it on the bed and print. I'm like, this is so cool. It's been extremely easy, and I'm absolutely like hooked on this. And it's like I can't wait to print the next thing. It's so fun to do. So, and I don't get paid. Nothing from Bamboo. Bamboo's not supporting us.
If you're going to be supporting Bamboo, it's the other way around.
Oh yes, I am.
Unless you switch to a different filament supplier. But when you have, let's say you're printing an insert, and the insert has, I don't know, like 6 or 7 trays. Would you want to print, like, let's say all 6 or 7 tray components all at the same time if they fit on the bed?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
it'll take longer. I mean, the more stuff you print, the longer the print's going to take. But I will take, because some things you can't because of the size or the shape of things. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't put like an entire insert. You're going to have to make. I've had some games where I've had to do 3 separate runs, or three runs total to print, 3 different print jobs to get everything. And but yeah, I mean, some things might take a couple hours, some might take 7 hours to print. It depends on what you're printing. If you're printing in one color, if you're printing in multiple colors, it's going to take longer to do that. But this thing is pretty quick. Like, we're watching it just like this. I'm like, I can't believe how fast the print head's moving inside this printer.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive. But it is time consuming. It takes time. It's going to be something that you're going to set up. And again, you go find a file like on Maker Lab or Thingiverse. You find what you want to print, and you just download the STL file. So if you're doing it from like Thingiverse, that's not tied into the printer. So then I just download the STL file. I go into the studio on my computer and I import. You unzip the files and then you import, and you go into that folder and it's like, well, here's the player tray, here's the card tray, here's the money tray, here, whatever they've named it, you know. and you select it and it pops in, and then you can go import another one, and yep, these will fit. You can move them around on the bed so you can get more things on to the print at once. And then once you've got everything in there, you hit preview and it tells you how long it's going to take. You can select which color. If you got an AMS with multiple colors, you can say just print everything here in white or black or red or whatever color you want. Or you can select, I want this tray in red, this tray in yellow, this tray in blue, this tray in green. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're printing 4 player color trays, and then it'll print them. Now, what I do when I did that, I printed one at a time, because I'm like, I'm just going to print the red one. And then when it's done, I'll switch and print it green. Because what I believe, and I haven't tested it, but what I believe is going to happen, because this thing, the printer will print from the bottom up. So if I'm printing 4 different colors, it's going to maybe lay down the bottom like very thin layer of blue, and it's got to purge the blue to move to the next one, and it's going to keep purging filament as it builds these up. So to save on filament, I'll print one at a time, because then I get no waste, because it's just one color and it just zip 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 zip. No, and I don't believe you can. I don't think it'll print, because the print bed moves up and down, and maybe if there's enough room between them, then maybe it'll print one first and then the other. But when I have a bunch of things on there and they're all the same color, it is laying it down top to bottom. So,
or bottom to top.
I'm sorry, bottom to top. Yes, bottom to the top. So I would recommend, at least from my experience or my knowledge, and I'm very new at this, I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, I'm going to save a lot of filament if I just print the player colors that I need, do everything in that color at once. But
I remember a couple of years ago, I was at a school district for work, and the guys there were printing a whole bunch of stuff, like Pokemon characters and various other things. Yeah. And then what they used to do is they would take them off the bed and then they would sand them. Granted, this was at this point probably like 6-7 years ago, maybe. And I know technology's changed, and the resolution, if that's the right word, is better now.
There's nothing to sand. There's nothing to sand.
Okay, so
I take them out and boom, they're ready to go right into the box and be used.
But how are the edges if they're curved? Are they fine, or is it ridged?
So my little toy that I made had rounded edges. It was like cube, but they're round, and they're perfectly there's no rough edges. It's just perfectly smooth. I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah, there was nothing to sand on. I'll have to, I don't have it sitting here. I think I was playing with it upstairs earlier, so it's upstairs. I'll have to show it to you sometime.
Well, I mean, let's say on your inserts, how are the walls of the inserts? Are they smooth, or if you
the outside of what I've seen so far, the outside is like a texture to them, but the insides are smooth. And so I can alter that. It depends on how the print itself is set up, how it's, whoever built it set that up. When I did my fidget toy, they had a couple different STLs where it could have been no design, just the cubes,
right? Or
there's a honeycomb design. Okay. I'm like, I want the honeycomb. That looks cool. And then you could have multiple colors. And then the STLs will say this color, these pieces are printed in this color, and these are this type of thing. So the way that looks, the texturing is in the STL, which as I expand I can probably alter those in the Bamboo Studio that I have, the program, because you can you import these STL files and they're there, and then you can manipulate them if you wish. Now,
sure,
I don't do that for an insert because it's already the proper size. Everything's been measured and ready to go. But if I was going to say print like a Godzilla, I have one. I'm waiting for some more filament. I'm waiting for my gray to come in. I want to print a Godzilla that has the blue spine on his back and his body. So I already have one, but that's the STL. Now I can make him bigger or smaller. So I can print a little tiny one, or I can, I just import that, and then I can make it bigger to be probably a couple feet tall if I want.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's so, like I was saying, Thingiverse, you would download the STLs to your computer and then import those into the thing. If you're on Maker World, then it has an option right there. It says open in Bamboo Studio.
Okay.
So I don't have to download anything. I'm just going to click that button and it automatically puts it into my studio. And then it's just so user friendly. This thing is amazing. Their deal. So they're having a 3rd anniversary and it goes up until July 15th, 2025. There's a cutoff date and time at that point, but I absolutely can recommend this for someone getting in. I would also recommend getting like the PS1. They have smaller printers. They have cheaper printers that are like
P1S.
open air. And if you get one that where there's some really like the A1 is one of them. The bed itself moves, like your print head stays, and the tray moves. The problem is that now your product is moving as it's trying to cool, and they tend to have print problems. Also, if it's open and not enclosed, if you walk by, or your air conditioner kicks on, or your heater kicks on, or a fan is on, or someone opens a window and air changes, the temperature or the breeze can cause print failures. So buying one of these that's fully encased, like the P1S, helps. It regulates its own temperature. If you walk by, your breeze is not going to throw anything off. You can open a window. I can run my fan in this room. It's not going to affect my print. So just, that's why I went with this one. It's encased. And start there. You don't need the AMS. That is more money and it's nice to have. But if you're going to just print everything in a single color, the printer does have a spool thing on the side of it that you install, and you just put your color filament right there and feed it into the printer, and that's it. You don't have to buy the AMS if you want to print one color.
You can always add it later.
And you can always add it later if you decide I want to do multi-printing, or I want to have, maybe I like right now I got 4 colors in the thing, so I can go in and say, well, just print this color. But if I want something that's not in there, I still got to take it out of there and then put it back in my box, get the new one, put it. So it's really how you want to print, what you plan to do with it. But I can say Bamboo Labs P1S is a fantastic place to start, and it's amazing. I am so happy with it.
And it sounds like that's a great place to start, and you're going to be covered for a while. If you jump into it. Whereas if you, let's say, get a smaller one, you might be more apt to upgrade sooner, I'm guessing, maybe.
Yes. Yeah. Or you might be disappointed because you're like, oh, this doesn't work. The prints are failing. And you might think it's the printer, but it might be, well, the bed's moving around, or that you have it open and there's breezes blowing, maybe the air conditioner. It's summertime right here in the US. So if you have an air conditioner on and it's blowing and you got it sitting under a vent, it's going to mess up that print every time. And it's not the printer's fault. It's the breeze. It's the airflow. But that can disappoint someone.
Fault. Meaning the person's
there you go.
fault for putting it there.
Yeah. So, but that can dissuade someone like, well, this sucks. Doesn't even work. What a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. So I think this really alleviates a lot of those things that can cause problems. Your bed doesn't move; it stays. It does raise up and down, but it doesn't move left, right. The other dimensions. So, your piece that's being printed, the print head moves around it, and it stays stable. And so far, like I said, I've done a lot of different printing in just a few days I've had it, and I am like wowed. I am so impressed.
So I'm curious to this because you were saying you print the different inserts for your games. and they might have little trays, etc. How easy would it be to have your STL file and then you just adjust it slightly? So let's say you have this little tray and you have it emboss the word coins on the inside so you know what to put in there. Like, is that difficult? Is that easy?
That I don't know. I've seen some where it's already there. I've printed one that had like the 10, the 5, the 1 already cut out, like, right? So that there's a little indent embossing, if you will, into the tray.
Yeah, because I guess you could go negative or you could go positive, right?
Yeah. So, and you can even make the positive, you can make it a different color if you wanted. Yeah. And you could do that with the negative too. You could print, like, if say your insert's black, you could make those little embossings like white.
Sure.
So that it stands out. I mean, you can, or whatever colors you want. But yes, you can do that. Now, as for if I get an STL file that doesn't have that and me altering it, that I have no idea. I know you could do it. I just don't have that knowledge or skill level yet.
Yeah, you haven't done it.
I haven't done it.
Yeah, I would imagine it. I imagine that using this is kind of like using a CAD program from back in the day. Because they used to, I remember I went through a couple of classes in college and high school on how to use that stuff. So it's got to be something similar, probably just way easier. Than it was, or if you know SketchUp or something like that, for designing things, then it's probably not too bad. But yeah, that'd be an interesting thing to find out. I might look into it. Or when I buy one, because I get so incredibly jealous of all the cool stuff that you're doing, and I want a piece of the action too.
Well, my buddy here that is in my game group, he has I'll put it this way. He's retired, but he's got a bunch of 3D printers. He has 11 printers in his house.
Oh, wow.
And he does this. This I think is what he's retired. And he does this now. Like he prints for all kinds of stuff and people.
Oh, like Etsy kind of stuff.
He picked up 4 more P1Ss himself the other day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was like, dang, man. So he's got like 15, and it looks like a bunch of his stuff. I know he's got some other stuff that are like bigger beds so he can print bigger stuff, but he picked up 4 of these things. So, and this is what he does. So,
yeah, I've seen stuff on Instagram where, people have like little keychain things, little figures or whatever, and they sell them on Etsy, and they'll just have a printer that prints like 25 of them on the bed all at once. And they just take it off the bed and they just like dump them into a bin.
Yeah.
Like, I need, we needed more of this one. And it's like some frogs or something for this particular video. But yeah, that's a business. It is a legit business.
Bye-bye, Meeple Source.
Yeah.
You're not getting me this year at Gen Con. I'll be like, oh, that's nice. I think I'll print it myself.
I bet they're still going to get you.
Probably.
But
I got one of their I got their Wormspan Dragon first player marker sitting right here because this actually didn't fit in the box because this is like crazy big size.
Yeah.
So and this Wormspan is one of the things that doesn't have any inserts. I printed an insert for it, and my big player marker doesn't go back in.
Nice.
So
yeah, so the next thing then for you is to print maybe some components.
I need to print a small Dragon first player marker that will fit. This thing's just way too big. I got a spot for one. It's just this is too big, so I need to print a small one, which I'm going to do.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Would you say this is one of the coolest toys that you've gotten recently?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that fidget toy and that the inserts are nothing new. I mean, I've used them, I bought them. That's fun. But printing out, the scraper, the poop bucket, like this big bucket that is designed to go wrap around the side. It seems so stupid, but the little fidget toy and those little boxes for my son for his Lego guys. I'm like, that looks so cool. It's just like, this is fun. I'm going to be doing a lot more with this printer than I actually expected to do, which is cool. Like, that's awesome. So
you're just discovering all the possibilities.
It's a very neat world.
And there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of creative people. Like, it just amazes me how you pick a game, whatever it is, just pick a game and then you do a search on like Thingiverse or whatever. And then you find, somebody printed an insert. Somebody created an insert. Somebody created, replacement components, first player thing, or little doodads to help improve quality of playing life or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
And, it's a lot of creative people, and it's awesome that they're sharing it.
But I think that's it. I know we're running long.
Yep.
We went longer than we wanted to, but I appreciate the time. This was so much fun to talk about, and
absolutely.
I will. I'll share more in the upcoming podcast.
And maybe we can do an update this fall after you've had it for a couple of months, and I'm sure you're gonna talk about stuff in the interim, just because it's cool.
I will do probably some videos on YouTube. So I did do an unboxing, but I scrapped the video. My setup here is not set up for something like that. It's too big, and you couldn't really see it. You couldn't see me, and so I scrapped it. But what I'm going to do is I will take some pictures of it. I got some videos of it working, and I'm going to put some video content together to put on our YouTube channel, and then I will show off some of the things that I've printed, like the little toy, the scraper, some of the inserts for the game, so you can see what the game looks like with the inserts in it and get an idea of what I'm printing. So I will do that through YouTube on our YouTube channel.
Very cool. So, all right. And wow, we just hit the 2-hour mark.
Yeah. No.
So, okay. That's an awesome journey. Looking forward to seeing what else you discover on that journey. And I'm going to try to hold strong and not get one right away. I bet I'll have one by Christmas.
Do it!
Or by Gen Con, whichever comes first.
When you see me pass up the Meeple Source booth, you're going to be like, dang, 3D printing is real. He doesn't even look at them.
You're like, I don't
got this.
Who cares about Meeple Source? Meeple Source is my printer, my P1S.
Meeple Source has awesome stuff. I'm not down on. I've spent so much money there. So it'll be nice to print my own. But if you don't have a printer, they are a great place to get some upgraded components. So
if you notice, I did ask you how long it took to get yours. Because I was curious. If I order one today, when am I going to get it?
It was less than 10 days.
Yeah. Okay. And that's coming directly from the factory.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, you're not getting it on Amazon next day. So, So.
Cool. All right. So that was awesome topic. Looking forward to seeing what becomes of this in the future. All right. So that is it for episode 100. Thanks for listening, everybody. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks. I'm Rob, and catch you soon.
I'm Mark, and I won't see at the table because I'm going to be too busy printing. Later.